Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'm going to be checking out one track off of Victim's new record, Vol.V The Hurt Collection. I am planning on doing more from this record. As a lot of you probably already know, I had to take like 2 weeks off, which overlapped with the time that this record came out. It wasn't planned, so sort of unfortunate, but I wanted to be sure to check out at least one song in the meantime of getting some more content sorted off of this record. So I'm going to do the Duality of Suffering, which features Taylor Barber of Left to Suffer. I am excited. I saved, I think, 2 of the singles that they've released for my full album listen that I still haven't heard yet. And then I've heard the rest of the singles, and I have a bunch of this album that will be brand new to me as well. So I am excited. I love Victims. I've covered them on the channel a number of times. I've seen them live. They put on an excellent live performance. So I will link all of their social media, any sort of physical copies of the record or merch you can get. All of the support links for Victims will be in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Tone sounded good already.
Where is this dissonance? So lonely to my bed. The duality of suffering in opposition to me.
Song title.
Sentence ourselves to death. Scheming to fake our men. We still are falling dead ready. It's anything left. People are a plague. Ungrateful and patient is how vicious plays. You see the same shit every day. Repeated mistakes. Abusive behavior. Beyond the fake. They display. Basking in a shallow pool of bitterness in your state. Nobody cares who they are in the process. They just want something to talk about. And at the end of the day, everyone just wants to save themselves.
Feel it building.
Helpless on corruption, addicted to the world. Any way we can get anyone to put down. We're out for blood, flesh and bone for bone. The system is meant to pay you. It's also gonna move. Fighting, we're running, simply fighting for crimes. Lives are at least in this world. Then bullets strings and love. When do you say enough is enough? Good for fucking murderers. Let blow the fucking blood.
Oh. Ooh. Oh. Rip. Oh. Ooh. Probably into the next one. Victims, The Duality of Suffering, featuring Taylor Barber. Let's discuss. I am definitely a fan of this track. This will go into the playlist for me. I think the guitars are a huge draw for me. Vocals, of course, as well. The combination of John's vocals with Taylor is fantastic. It works. I mean, it's not a combination that strikes me as like, oh, I don't think that will work well, but it still managed to surprise me with how well some of those parts work. That second big breakdown, I love the low and slow breakdowns too. I think that's another thing that brings this track to that level for me. Would be the mixture of those vocals, the guitar work on it, the low and slow breakdowns, which I 100% am here for. The build up on the second one being a little bit shorter, and you know, there's a little bit of synth in there. You know it's coming for both of those breakdowns, I think. But the sort of shorter build up to that second one, even though it was my favorite of those two breakdowns, I really liked that sort of, you know, variation in the build up to those two, even though they're rather close together in the song. It's a 3-minute track, so, you know, fitting it in there. I was almost expecting a little, the way I see, because Taylor has been doing a lot of features recently, and I think sometimes they'll utilize his singing or his spoken, and it gives it even more of that, like, you know, very obviously a Taylor feature. But even without having that, you can tell when Taylor's vocals come in. So vocals on this track are another huge thing for me. I think the context of the full record will be where I'm really able to kind of elaborate on my thoughts and such, because I've only heard, I think, 3-4 tracks off of this whole record. This one being, I think, the 4th. That seems more correct to me, but I'm pretty sure I've saved a good amount of this to cover. I'm hoping to do a full album video with everything being so busy and me not really knowing what my situation is in terms of being able to be here in front of my setup. I'm not 100% sure I'll get the full album video done, but as of right now, that is my plan, and I'm really curious to see some of those other features. I have listened to one feature off of this that has the vocalist from Orphan, who I'm pretty sure, I haven't listened to them in a good minute, but I'm pretty sure is not the vocalist anymore. There's a Jack feature from Void of Vision on here, so I'm interested in those, but Victims is a band who has always worked their features in really well. Most of their albums have a good number of features on them that just manage to fit their sound incredibly well, and I've already heard the track with Elijah Witt from Cane Hill on it. That is a combination that I really love to see, and I think that worked very well. I love the stuff Cane Hill is doing with, you know, more singing, a lot, well, I guess, if you don't count a form of protest, but with the EPs, a lot of singing, a lot of the more new, in the new metal side of things, but having Wit on a track like that, I very much enjoyed. So, but I'm more curious, I think, for the tracks. A lot of times I'll love the features they do, but it'll be those tracks without features that'll sort of sneak up on me and end up being favorites off of their releases in the past. So I'm very interested to see, you know, all of the rest of the album, but there was with their last release, I think with Volume 4, there was some surprises for me. The more melodic tracks, the ones that sort of had big hooks and melodies and stuff, not really what I was going for with Victims, but I ended up loving those tracks and playing them a ton. What I haven't seen a ton of with the newer tracks from Victims, keeping in mind I haven't listened through this whole album and have saved a lot of it, is that sort of over the top, just uncontained aggression, which I'm not at all saying these tracks don't have some of that aggression in there, because they certainly do. I think the style of John's vocals can really go into this territory that gives it that, like, you know, I'm not even sure, uncontained feeling that I'm talking about, where he especially with some of the higher vocals, just goes into this place that really expresses a lot of the lyrical topics that Victims covers, you know, time and time again in their music. There is a reoccurring theme to some degree along the lines of mental health struggles, that sort of stuff, and their ability to express it in such like an over-the-top sounding way, not at all a bad thing, where these singles seem to focus differently, and not a lot of tracks, especially if you go to Volume 1, Volume 2, that I would say I focus this much on, you know, the riffs in them and such, the guitar work. I could tell right away as soon as I heard that guitar tone, like, well, this is appealing to me right now. And that ended up being something that really carried this track for me, as well as the vocal performance. So big breakdowns on this. I would like to see, it's not a necessity for me, what I just mentioned with like that, the most pissed side of Victims. I think the majority of their music, bar some of the songs I just mentioned off of the last release, that fall more into, suddenly everything changes, stuff like that taps into a different place. Both sides, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Those songs that I mentioned, I ended up loving, and the stuff that's just like that unhinged amount of emotion expressed vocally, it comes and matches that instrumentally. Both things I'd really like to see off the full release, so we will see how that goes. In terms of favorite songs I've heard so far, this will definitely be up there. I mentioned the combination of John and Taylor's vocals together, but some of those, like the choices with layering and the breakdown sections and stuff, are just phenomenal, so that's going to really drive this track for me as well. I am excited to see what else is on this record, to see if it will vary the way the last one did, where I hadn't really expected it to so much in the way that it did. There are a lot of off-the-wall songs, I think, with Victims. You have some tracks they've done where Meredith will do vocals, and it takes on more of like a lo-fi instrumental sound, and then the possibilities with this band do seem to be very wide, especially when you look at what the members listen to, what they're capable of doing, like having Meredith do some vocals. She's able to do vocals really well also. Those types of things have me very curious to get to my listen of the full album. So those are my thoughts on this song. Probably my favorite thing I've heard off of this thus far. I'm interested to see if there's more, variety like I felt the last release had, and if there's some more of those big breakdowns. Ideally, with a lot of that clearing my throat mid-video, a lot of that sort of like, John's really high vocals with the sort of like energy that they brought. They featured Darius on one of their singles from the record I'm talking about, Vol.V that came out last year, and it is to this day one of my favorite songs that they have ever done. That track is a really good example of what I'm talking about with Tyler's vocals and that sort of mood. So those are the things I'm hoping to see on the record, possibly, but they've really not put out a full release that I haven't walked away with at least, a handful of songs that I'll do a good amount of revisiting with. And the more time goes on, though Vol.1, Vol.2 were huge for me, I felt like it picked back up with Vol.4. That really only leaves Vol.3 not. And that's one I still revisit as well, so I don't want to make it sound like it's not something I enjoyed, but probably 1, 4, 2, 3 would be my ranking, so I'm curious where 5 will fall amongst those. So anyway, those are my thoughts after listening to one new track off of the new Victims album, The Hurt Collection, or Vol.V The Hurt Collection, which is out now. It came out on Friday the 13th. I am just late to getting into this. I am planning on covering more, hopefully a full album video, but if not, I'll pick, another song or two and make sure I listen to the rest of the record as well before doing the outro on that, so I can sort of speak more about the record as a whole rather than focusing on one song. So let me know what your favorite tracks, definitely, if you can, let me know your favorite tracks in the comments off the record. That way I can try to prioritize that as well. If I'm not able to get the whole album up and only able to select a few more tracks to do or something, I'll try to take into consideration reoccurring favorites off the record and all of that. So this was the Duality of Suffering. Like I mentioned, I'm going to link all of Victim's social media, promotional links, any sort of physical copies or merch you can get for the record. That will all be in the description of this video. You can also find my link tree there, which will have any link you need related to my channel. That includes my Patreon, Twitch, my Discord server, all of that good stuff is in there. Twitch, I'll be getting going on that again soon. As I've mentioned in all these videos that I'm posting recently, I unexpectedly had to take a 2-week break. It really sucked not being able to film, but also being away from my filming setup. I also was not able to stream / have not been able to stream, so I'm going to be getting my streaming schedule going again. In addition to the weekly request live streams that we do, we'll be doing some more music related streams, some of them related to end of the year, some of them not. So if you want to be notified when I go live, see when we're doing song requests, see what other music streams I'm doing. Feel free to follow that Twitch in the link tree. Patreon, I offer various different things. We'll also be doing a lot of end of the year type of stuff over there, which we've already started and been working on for at least a month, probably more now. I make playlists for Tier 3 that I update monthly based off of a For Fans Of that they give me when they sign up. Everything's listed out in the tiers if you want to see what I offer. And then Discord is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of music lovers in there, just hanging with the homies. So if you want to come join, check that out. That will be there as well. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.